We are joined now by the University of Houston student athletes. We have Juwan Roberts, LJ Cryer, and Jamal Shed for the next 15 minutes. Let's go to questions. Who wants to go first for any of the three guys for the Cougars? Okay, here on the left side on the aisle.
This is for Jamal, but any of you can answer. Tim Kalishaw, Dallas Morning News. Jamal, you'd seen three of your teammates foul out, and you're trying to hang on in overtime, and then you foul out. What was that was that like a nightmare going through that game trying to survive?
It was a little different, a little unorthodox for sure. But like we say, next man up. I think Ramon came in and gave us great minutes. Damian came in and gave us great minutes, and so did Malik. So, and then when I fouled out, Ryan made the biggest shot of our tournament so far. So, I feel like everybody came in with the right mindset, and it was unfortunate that we all fouled out, but it went the right way.
You want LJ and Juwan to respond, or you good?
Just kind of what that experience was like sitting next to each other.
Hey, LJ, why don't you take that?
It wasn't a good feeling not being out there. We want to be out there because when all three of us are out there, we feel like we have the best chance to win. But we had to trust our teammates. It was like I said, it was unfortunate, but we had confidence that those guys will go out there and get it done.
Next question on the aisle here on the right grouping.
Skyler Dixon with the AP. Jamal, you've helped turn this program into a consistent Final Four contender for the first time in 40 years. You guys proved you belong in the Big 12. What's the motivation and the focus for sort of finishing the job now that you're in this position again?
I don't think that we changed any type of motivation or changed what we've been doing all year and for the past 4 years that I've been here. They had a winning culture before I got here, and it kind of got instilled in me playing with guys like J1 for 4 years, and then all the guys that were in front of us. So I feel like we do what we do day in and day out, every day, consistently the same way, and we follow Coach Sampson, and I think that's the real reason we're here.
Okay, we'll stay on the right, toward the middle.
Starnes Leland, the Cougar. Juwan, how do you guys sort of deal with the emotional come down of a game like that, over those following days?
In that game, I didn't want my, two best players to foul out, but, just having trust, in people that's coming off the bench and just doing their role. Coach Sampson has a lot of trust in Malik, Damian, Ryan, and like Jamal said earlier, just next man up. And just having that, confidence, and that trust in each other, to just finish a game and just take every possession at a time.
Media joining us on Zoom, if you have a question, please utilize the raise hand feature to ask a question. I think our next one, guys, will be here on this left side, right here, toward the middle.
Ishmael Johnson, Dave Campbell's. Jamal, you're from, Manor, growing town, but still small enough when you were growing up to kind of know everybody, kind of knows everybody. Mm-hmm. You also led them to a state final appearance as well, or state tournament appearance. What's the support been like from a community like that so close-knit? You grew up with a lot of the football guys who are doing things in college now. What's the support been like for back home?
It's been awesome. Everybody that I know from there has been supporting me every step of the way. And when you're from a little town like that, you go back a lot. Like I've had my camps there. I go back a lot, go watch football games, basketball games when I can, and just go see my coaches when I can. But when you come from a small city like that, the support is unreal.
Okay, here on the aisle.
LJ, you came from a program that has expectations of being where this one is right now. What's this ride been like from you, kind of from start to finish, and what's it like to be here now when you probably expected that when you made the move?
Coming in, it was hard, definitely because both of it's two different cultures, but I felt like the move was worth it, and I'm just blessed to be in the position I am today with these guys, and I'm excited to see how far we can take this thing.
Okay, back on the left again.
LJ, if I'm not mistaken, your high school career got cut short because of COVID, correct? With the state championship?
Nah, we lost right before the COVID
That's right. That's
hit
right.
me,
So
but-
we'll my bad. But regardless, that Morton Ranch team was good, and having it cut short like that, what has that been like to kind of now make up for that? Playing for a team that, of course, your last school as well, but also now playing for a team with championship expectations, and I don't know how much does that ring in your mind of knowing how close you can get, but not necessarily getting there.
I mean, high school never rings in my mind anymore, honestly. But I try to live in the moment, and this is the moment we're having now. And this is a special team, and we could do some special things. So, I mean, I just try to come in with the right mindset every single day, and just approach things the right way. And I feel like when you do that, you're gonna have success. So, yeah.
I think we have a question on Zoom. Is that right, Debbie?
Yes, we have a question from Greg. Greg, if you would unmute yourself, state your name and affiliation, and then proceed with your question.
This is Greg Riddle with the Dallas Morning News. This question is for Jamal. I talked to your high school coach, and he said when you got to Manor, your jump shot was one of the things you really needed to work on, and you're shooting 500 jump shots a day during the summer to get ready for the season. How much has that work at Manor helped you get to the point where you are today?
My high school coach was one of the first coaches who pushed me in ways that I didn't know how to work. I was one of the only guys that on our basketball team came and worked out with the football guys in the summer, and he's helped me prepare me for Coach Sampson. Nothing can really prepare you for Coach Sampson, but he helped me a lot on my route here, and he's an awesome coach, an awesome person, and that time at Manor helped me become who I am today.
Other questions for the three guys? Okay. We're not quite done yet. Here on the aisle, right side.
So one more for Jamal. What about playing a big name like Duke? You guys are kind of a big name now. You've been a number one seed before. You're number one seed again, but now you face a big name program in Duke. How do you all approach that? How do you handle that?
I think we prepare just like any other game. They're a great program. They're known for great things, as they should be. They've won a lot, and they have good players today, or they wouldn't be in this position to play against us. So, but I think we go in and we try to prepare like we normally do, and just play the people in front of us and not the name.
Okay, is that it, or any other questions? I don't see any hands. Okay, guys, we'll let you go back to the locker room. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
And good luck tomorrow. We'll see you then. Take care, man. Coach Sampson will join us at 3:20 approximately. So about 6 minutes from now. Okay. Can you prepare a big sign that says that? Do that. Yes, yes, yes. No, because we're 6 minutes out.
Who just left here? The players.
They just
See
left
their
you.
names up here.
Okay, we are now joined by head coach Kelvin Sampson of the University of Houston. Coach, you want to make an opening statement or just go straight to questions?
I'll go straight to questions.
Okay, who wants to go first for Coach? Coach, over here on your right by the curtain.
Coach Tyler Baptiste from The Athletic. Hollis Price, Quantus White, guys you've known for over 20 years. How have you seen them grow? Excuse me, I'm fighting the cold. How have you seen them grow not only since then when you first met them, but as coaches over the past few years as you guys have taken this next step?
Awesome question. That's
I'm from Louisiana, so.
yeah. I figured anywhere near the 9th Ward. No, from Lafayette. Corey Davis. A lot of Louisiana guys. When I started recruiting, Hollis is 148 pounds, so he's grown a lot. I was hoping you'd find a humor in that. But he was 6 foot, 148 pounds, 4-year starter, never missed a practice, best practice player I've ever had, bar none. Quantus and Hollis were high school classmates. Chris, I remember them beating Chris Duhan's high school team in the state finals their senior year. Hollis signed with us, and Quantus signed with Midland Junior College. And then we recruited Quantus out of Midland. But Hollis was a man at 14. His maturity level was unusual for an 18-year-old. He was never a kid. He was just a man. He was raised by his mom and dad. I'm sorry, he was raised by his grandfather and grandmother. So he lived in the 9th Ward. You know, he had really, really tough. Same with Quantus. He was a 9th Ward kid. But they're both just great human beings. Hollis was a first-team All-American, Wooden Award finalist. T.J. Ford, Hollis, David West from Xavier, Dwayne Wade from Marquette, Nick Collison from Kansas. That was the first-team All-American team that year. Quantus is a winner. Tough kid, is our starting point guard on a Final Four team, and a team that almost went back to the Final Four the following year. We lost to Carmelo Anthony's Syracuse team that year. And now they're fathers and husbands, and their families are awesome. I know their kids. I guess I'm kind of like their old great uncle or something. But their wives, their families, I'm just really proud of them, and they've both developed into extremely good coaches and teachers. was just really proud of those two guys.
Okay, Coach, let's go on the aisle here on the left side now.
Yeah, Tim Kalishaw, Dallas Morning News. Kelvin, this will be less awesome of a question. What went through your mind when I think Garcia hit the three to send the game to overtime as you're sort of running out of players? And then following that, what do you think that winning a game like that does for your team?
Well, the first thing that went through my mind is I'm glad we didn't foul him. Somebody asked me, should you have fouled there? Of course not. You kidding me? With 1.2 seconds to go? At what point on the catch was he not going to be in the shooting motion? But I called timeout with 1.2 seconds to go. I knew that, and it did cross my mind that Buzz is probably going to drop one of them tricky plays of his. But that didn't matter because I had three guys that fouled out. We had two guys on the floor that would never have been on that floor in that situation. They had not gone over that enough for me to feel comfortable, so I felt I felt a major need to call timeout, and just shows you what a great teacher I am. They screwed it up. You know, the big thing on switches is there's a gray area with the switch. You know, when a kid screens someone, that's easy to switch. But when he runs like he's going to switch and then keeps going, that's when the communication can get tricky. And one of the last things we said is whether they make contact or not, switch. Now, the no contact and go rule is called ghost. They will ghost that. So, and Buzz deserves a lot of credit for that, is they ghosted the screen even though we were instructed to switch the ghost. We did not. So when Garcia, they set the screen for Garcia, the guy that set the screen kept running to the corner. So Ramon and Malik kept going with that guy and Garcia, who was probably the one guy you don't mind shooting. Of course, in that situation, never gonna miss, which is why if there was 6 seconds to go, I would have fouled him. But with 1.2, absolutely not. But, you know, we get asked a lot about us in that moment. I think Buzz and Texas A&M deserve a lot of credit, too. They're good. And the way they play forces you to have a lot of collisions. You know, say, well, you foul a lot. Well, they initiate the contact. There is no, you have no alternative. When they're driving at your chest, there is going to be a collision. And if you bring help, that means that you've got two people on the ball, which means somebody's free to go offensive rebound. And when you're the best at something in the country, when you're the best at something, that means you're really, really, really good. And A&M, much like Duke is right now, they were playing their best basketball at the end of the year. I think, if I'm not mistaken, they had won 5 consecutive games in the SEC and lost a heartbreaker to Florida. That might have been in overtime. But A&M was playing well, and Buzz is a hell of a coach, and they took it to us. Now, we were up 12 with a minute and something, 3 minutes to go. We missed, I think, 4 free throws, 1-and-1s. We made one, missed one 4 times. Okay, you make 2 of those, and it's not an issue. But we did. Turn it over one time. Got a couple of tough whistles. But when a team comes back and the crowds get into it, all 8 people on the court sometimes get involved. But I haven't had a chance to say this, but I was really impressed with the job that Buzz and A&M did. They were tremendous.
Okay, here on the second row.
Wendell Barnhouse, Learfield Sports.
Say Wendell.
Hey, I know that kind of one of your core philosophies is you make practices harder than the games.
Mm-hmm.
Big 12 this year, and nothing against the American Conference that you were in before, but how much did playing in the Big 12 for the first time and winning it, how much did that increase the toughness of this team?
Well, it didn't increase the toughness of practice. Our practices never change. You know, I didn't start practicing harder or coaching better or coaching harder because we changed leagues. And I apologize for being repetitive, but going from the American to Big 12 for us, me in particular, I was more concerned about losing 4 starters. Jarris Walker, 8th pick, Sasser, the 25th pick, Mark transferred to Arkansas, and then we lost Reggie Chaney. That was probably more talked about in our coaches' meetings when we started really being heavy in basketball. End of August, September, practice started end of September, October. We didn't think one minute about the Big 12. I mean, it was literally not in our thought process. You know, we had an 18-year-old freshman in JoJo Tugler that we knew had to play. We had stayed away from the portal because we rolled the dice on Javier Francis. We needed to give him a chance to succeed and not have him come off the bench another year. Because in this world where it's easy to transfer, if you're not going to play them, you might as well tell them to leave because they're going to transfer. And so we didn't want to do that. We believe in our homegrown players. You know, when Jamal Shedd came to our program, he was 17 years old. J1 was 17. Javier was 17. JoJo was 8. JoJo was 17 when we signed him. He turned 18 May 27th. And then there's somebody else Emmanuel Sharp was 17 when he got to Houston. So we like to take these young guys, put them through it, find out what they got, develop them, and then they become the stewards of our culture. You know, player-led teams are far better than coach-led teams. And this team is very much a player-led team. You know, Jamal gets a lot of the credit, as he should, but J1 doesn't get near enough credit. You know, J1's also a leader. He's not as loud with his voice as Jamal is, but J1 is so sincere, and his emotion, his emotion is captured in a different way. You know what? Reggie Chaney Fabian White was a great leader for our post guys, and Bryson Gresham was. But they've learned from, you know, seniors leave, next group comes, seniors leave, next group comes. You know, I've been there 10 years, so we've had a lot of really good groups. But the leader of this group of post guys is definitely J1. And JoJo and Javier, their day will come too. But I can't tell you how pleased I am with the buy-in, the accountability that our kids have for each other.
We have about 4 minutes left in this time frame on Coach's right toward the middle.
Starnes Leland, the Cougar. Damian Dunn has seemed to be playing with more confidence since the postseason started. How big has that been to see that in March?
Yeah, much needed too, Starnes. When we lost Terrence, you know, we had to change channels. Then when we lost JoJo, both of those to season-ending surgeries, I mean, those were 2 key pieces for us. You know, we just kept, you know, those were 2 huge hits. And then when Ramon had the lateral meniscus injury, you know, those 3 guys made us a good rebounding team. Your rebounding, that comes from one guy. It comes from a collective effort. Damian, though, you know, it's kind of been up and down all year, probably down more than up, to be honest. But you know, I watch him in practice every day, and I just can see it there. It's a matter of bringing it to the court, and I give a lot of credit to his teammates. They've kept believing in him. Sometimes you need your teammates to believe in you, and maybe you don't believe in yourself enough. So Damian has awesome teammates that help him along the way. You know, he got 17 in the first tournament game against Longwood. I don't remember what he got against A&M, but just his body language on the court has been better, and I think that's reflective of his confidence.
Okay, closing questions now for Coach Sampson. In the back on the left.
Chancellor Johnson, KPRC in Houston. even with all the injuries and your rotational changes, one guy who's been steady for you throughout, it seems like it's been LJ Cryer. What is his game? What stood out about his game over the past month or so?
Just getting better. I don't know why you have practice every day if you're not trying to get better. You know, don't buy into that adage that once you get to February, you are what you are. That's not true. LJ has been on a constant battle this year to become more than just a shooter. You know, we run a lot of sets for him where he has to come off pin downs. And not to shoot it, you know, if they're locking and chasing, that means they're chasing him into the paint. So once he turns the corner off a screen and gets downhill into the paint, what's your game, son? You know, don't show up at the party and you don't have anything to offer. You got to have something. So he's developed his float game. He's developed a runner. He's getting fouled a little bit more. We put him in more and more pick and rolls in the three areas: side, slot, middle. He's learned to read the game down the middle and in front and behind him. Just developing. I mean, that to me is what a coach's job is. You know, just don't recruit the best players and hope you can win. That very rarely works out. But recruit kids that are really good, then develop them. Because once you develop them, that means they own their skill set. Because if they're not developed, that means they're renting it. And if they're renting it, that means somebody gave it to you. And it's a lot better to own it. LJ owns his game right now. He's really worked hard and developed it. But I have to give a lot of credit to Quantas White. Quantas is an awesome teacher, man. You look at the kids that's come through this program. Damian Dotson, NBA draft choice. Quentin Grimes, NBA draft choice. Marcus Sasser. Marcus Sasser, Jerry West, top shooting guard in the nation last year. Quantas White was the guy that is his position coach. And now is LJ and Jamal. You know, we just keep getting really, really good guards that are being drafted NBA or getting national awards, and I don't think Quantas White gets enough credit for that.
Okay, we are out of time. Coach Sampson, thank you very much for being with us
thanks,
today,
guys.
and wish you good luck tomorrow. We'll see
Thank
you
you.
then. Thanks, Coach.